Hi, welcome in. If you're new here, I'm Siva, your host. And if you're an OG, thanks for showing up again. I appreciate you. And I was so excited to do this episode, and I'll be 100% transparent. So I did the last week's episode just based off of intuition channeling, asking, hey, what needs to come through me? And it was like, okay, self-love. So I did an amazing podcast last week about self-love, if that interests you. But I'll be honest about asking ChatGPT. I thought, okay, that did well. I got good feedback. Okay, what else might be of interest this week? And I loved ChatGPT's first answer. Rarely do I love ChatGPT's first answer because honestly, with a tool, love it or hate it, a lot of it helps you because you're the asker and you have to have really good prompts to get really good answers, right? So usually it's on the operator error, but I loved this idea that it came up with. The title was something like Unshakable Confidence and how to live that daily, how to have daily habits for that. That was what I liked about last week's episode. It was very practical, like, okay, what is this self-love concept? Let's bring it down to earth so it's actually like something I can do today versus this lofty concept to sell you something, right? So I had the idea, okay, let's do that same thing with confidence because self-love and confidence, they go hand in hand. When you have that self-appreciation, when you know who you are, you're automatically more confident. You're automatically showing up as the real version of yourself, as the magnetic being that you are, because you know who you are, you love yourself, and you're showing up in your confidence. So this episode is going to be all about confidence, what that actually is, because there's so many misconceptions about confidence and how you can get it for yourself, what life will truly look like when you are that confident person and what that will really get you. The same way I feel about the concept of self-love is the same way I feel about confidence. A lot of the stuff that y'all are tuning into about confidence is BS. I wanted to make this episode to help the person that feels like they aren't confident in their body, they're not confident in themselves, and talk some about what confidence really means and what it actually feels like to be confident, because a lot of times people are getting confidence confused with pride. I'll just be real. So let's get into how you can embody this confidence for yourself. First thing I'll do is answer the question of why confidence. I'm sure everyone knows, like, okay, it's not about what you're doing so much as the confidence. And if you don't understand this, I'm here to over-explain it so you not just understand it, but understand it and overstand it, right? When you're confident, it creates almost this magnetic energy field. And it's almost attracting things in. And Frederick Dodson, a coach I learned a lot from, says this a lot. You can only be rejected if you've rejected yourself. And when you are that confident person, you're just not getting rejected because confidence is embodied. I know who I am and I'm going to show up that way. And so when you're showing up as your confident self, you're going to get the job. You're going to get the partner. You're going to get the life that you want. Anything that's on your vision board, it's going to come to you with confidence. So confidence is super key if you want to live that dream life, because if you show up to an opportunity and you feel small within yourself, you're just not going to have access to it like you would if you were confident. And then say you do get the thing and you feel small, then comes imposter syndrome where you're constantly worried, okay, I'm doing this thing, but do I really deserve it? Am I really the person? And that just causes stress in the rest of your life. And it all could be solved from the root issue of self-love, self-care, and being confident within yourself. Think about it like this. This might be a mean way of putting it, but when you're not confident, you're telling others, you're implying that there's something wrong with you and that others shouldn't value you because there's just something off. Maybe you've had this experience where a potential friend or maybe a potential romantic interest, there's literally nothing wrong with them. They look good, they're the good person, but they carry themselves so small and so insecure, like there's like everything is wrong with them, and it's almost unattractive. Maybe that's hurtful for you to hear, but it's true. If you are acting like something is wrong with you everywhere, people are going to start to say, oh, something is wrong with that person. But it's not because there is, it's because you believe it to be so. And when you walk around without confidence, you're telling the world, something is wrong with me, I am not worthy. And you will never get your dream life coming from that perspective. Who you are inherently, regardless of what you do, what you look like, what you sound like, the clothes you wear, the car that you have, anything external, regardless of anything external, you are worthy just because you are. As in, I am that I am, you are that you are, and you are worthy and you are loved just because you are. So that's something so fundamental that you have to drill into your brain. The money is not going to make you worthy. The status is not going to make you worthy. The brand is not going to make you worthy. The partner is not going to make you worthy. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you can start to shift your life into a confident version of yourself. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you, so quit acting like it. It's a little bit of tough love, but I'm coming from this space of I want you to see it how it really is. Because living this way is not only a disservice to yourself, but it's delusional, because you're denying yourself the clear image of who you really are. If you understood your full power, if you understood your full worth, it would bring tears to your eyes. You would be high almost. And if you're not in that experience, it might be hard to see. But I'm telling you, just so you know, any thought that you have about being unworthy is some sort of mistaken belief that you've picked up upon your path, and it can always be let go of if you know how. So that's how confidence will help you. Let's get into what confidence really is. And I kind of touched on it there. It's like that deep worth. So I mentioned a lot of people think of confidence as pride these days. We are shown a lot of images on social media of what confidence looks like. And it's almost like this boastful personality that everyone has got their eyes on, and they're dominating the room, they're dominating the attention, and a lot of times they're putting other people down, even flexing their money. Y'all could never. I'm this, that, and the third, like these other girlies, da 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 da. A lot of pop culture and music is like that. It's just very boastful, and they may not expressly say it, but the thought pattern, the attitude is, I am superior to other people for this, that, and the third, or just because I am. When you've lived your life unconfident, the quickest way you figure out how to get out of feeling so low and feeling miserable is by putting yourself above others. You think, I felt so low my entire life. I've always felt like the bottom of the barrel. The solution, obviously, is to feel superior to everybody. And this is a recipe for disaster. It will feel like a relief temporarily to put yourself above other people. And for whatever reason you decide, because you dress well, because you're this, that, and the third, you are now superior. It only gives you confidence half of the time. And it's fickle confidence. It's coward's confidence. Because what ends up happening is you feel superior to the select group of people, superior to them because you have more money. But then as soon as you come in contact with someone who makes more money than you, who dresses a bit nicer, who has the thing that you want, all of that so-called confidence is shattered right in that moment, and you are back at that place of feeling low. You could have this pride about, oh, I look so good today. One offhanded comment about, you could have da-da-da-da. It ruins your whole day because you weren't actually in true confidence. You were in pride. If you want to start showing up as your confident self, you need to have the discernment within you to know what is confidence, true confidence, and what is pride. Because pride is going to be taken away from you and put you in the same position you started with, and courage is going to have you feeling fulfilled. A lot of people stay within pride because it's the only way they figured out how to get out of the misery of feeling less than. But the pendulum of pride constantly swings you around, feeling better than people, feeling worse than people, feeling on top of the world, feeling like shit. And the way to balance this pendulum is being in the middle, being rooted within yourself, and having that unshakable confidence. So what is that unshakable confidence then? So what is true confidence then? True confidence comes from a place deep within you. A lot of the times it's more calm than superiority and pride. Confidence just is. It doesn't need to tell you about it. Confidence is, okay, the people might praise me. The people might dislike me. I'll be okay either way. Confidence is being able to put yourself in a position that you want to be in and being okay if you get rejected even. Confidence is knowing that you're not perfect, yet taking the steps and being courageous anyways. Confidence is being okay whether they love you or whether they hate you, and doing what you truly want to do and picking that out from a place of clarity. Now you're not acting from, okay, if I get this result, then others will approve of me. You're acting, okay, I'm choosing to go on this path because it feels good for me, not because I'm expecting anything from the external world. Confidence is the freedom from mind chatter and constantly worrying about what other people think. If you still aren't getting the difference between pride and confidence, let me put it into a story for you. So imagine there's this girl. She really likes this guy and she knows he's going to be at this party. So what she decides to do, she puts on an outfit that she thinks will be really appealing to him. She thinks he'll think it's sexy. Then she does her makeup perfectly and she goes to the party. Then at the party, he ignores her. Her whole night is then ruined. Or maybe someone mentions something about not liking her outfit. Her whole night is ruined because someone else did or didn't do something, and she feels less than because of an outside result, and she allows that to ruin her night. Versus maybe say the same girl who had true confidence. She knows that the guy that she likes is going to be there, but she decides she wants to wear something that she feels like she just genuinely wants to wear. So she puts on her outfit. Maybe someone says something about not liking the outfit. She laughs. Maybe the guy ignores her the whole night, but she doesn't end up taking it personal because she knows nothing's really personal. He either was busy, wasn't thinking about me, maybe he was nervous to come talk to me, or maybe he just isn't interested. And if that's the case, there's nothing that I can do to change that. He's just not available. She didn't make it about her because she comes from the perspective that she's inherently worthy. The way that you see and perceive life and all of its events comes from the assumed identity and reality and beliefs that you have taken on. When you have come from this position of, oh, I'm inherently not worthy, everything that you see in life is a reflection of this unworthiness. Yet when you assume your worth, when you believe your worth, you know you're inherently worthy, you perceive the world in that lens, and it's a completely different lens. It's a completely different reality. Now everything reflects your worth, and it's not even, you're not thinking about it. You're automatically living that way. Does that make sense? It's literally like if you had glasses on. Like you're seeing everything through the lens of these tinted sunglasses. It just depends what your tinted sunglasses are. So if you had blue tinted sunglasses, every single event that you see in life, it's going to look blue. If you had green tinted sunglasses, everything that you see is going to be green. So it's up to you to pick out what tint that you want to see things from. And a lot of the times we don't know the tint that we're looking through because it's attached to us, right? So only when you take off your glasses and you look at them, it's like, okay, this is how I've been perceiving life. And is this how I want to continue to perceive it, or do I want to change it? So when you've assumed the identity of confidence, when you know that you're worthy inherently, it will change your whole entire life because you're now coming from the perspective of worth. So you're attracting opportunities that confirm that. Your brain always wants to confirm your beliefs. Whether they're terrible, whether they're neutral, whether they're great, your brain wants to be right. Everybody wants to be right. You know this. Have you ever been in an argument? Everybody wants to be right. So if you believe something like I'm unworthy, your brain is going to look for results everywhere. He didn't wave back. That means I'm unworthy. He didn't text me back. That means I'm unworthy. Yet if you had come from that assumption, hey, I am worthy, it's not even an assumption. You're unaware of it. It's literally a part of you. It's how you're viewing things. He didn't wave back. He must have not seen me, or he didn't recognize me today. He didn't text back. Oh, he's busy. If you're not in the experience of that might sound weird. So it's like, okay, how do you take on this identity? But I'm here to tell you, I'm qualified to teach this because I used to be the former, like totally insecure about everything. I'd mentioned this a little bit in the self-love episode. I genuinely would not believe that this level of clarity, this level of acceptance and love for myself was even possible. I used to be that girl at the party, wearing things for other people's approval, doing things for other people's approval. And now I'm that second girl. It's like, if they like me, then they like me. If they don't like me, then they don't like me. That really has nothing to do with me. It's not a me problem. It's not a me thing. So talk about something that you can do on a daily basis to implement confidence. Stop making every single thing about yourself. 99% of people make everything about themselves. So if you're out in the world making everything about yourself, that doesn't even make sense, because most people are making things about themselves. A lot of times people are acting and they're literally in their own world. They are not thinking about how it might affect you, and they're not thinking about you most of the time. And even if they are thinking of you and they do something hurtful, they are operating at the highest level of capacity that they can at the time. Everyone is showing up as the best version of themselves. Even if you say, oh, they should know better, they don't. They don't know better, or they would be better. Everyone would be better if they really felt in their heart that it would serve them. There's a reason that some people are hurting others. I mean, you know the phrase, hurt people. And it's true because people can only show up for you in the way that they've shown up for themselves. And the truth is, most people are not okay with themselves. Most people have not taken the time out to sit with themselves, go through their shit, look in their bag, let go of their baggage, and step up and be better for themselves. If they have not stepped up to be better for themselves, you cannot expect them to step up and be better for you. Their survival instinct is on the line. You hear me? Their life, they cannot even be better for their own existence. So you thinking that there's something wrong with you because they haven't stepped up, that's also delusional. It has nothing to do with you. So the rule of not taking things personal can be so important when you're building confidence, because when you're not confident, you take everything internally. Oh, that off comment had everything to do with me. But really the truth was they just had a rough day, whatever the case may be. And the more that you start practicing not taking things personally, the more you'll start to see that things actually aren't personal. Because it's weird at first when you start to take on, okay, things aren't personal. Things come at you, they land, and they hurt. And it's weird making this shift of saying, okay, that wasn't personal. Okay, I'm saying to myself that wasn't personal, but it still hurt. But as time goes on, you will literally be in the experience of things coming in, they landing, it didn't hurt, because you've experienced that things actually aren't personal. When you've never had that experience before, it's easier to take it on. So the more you're telling yourself, hey, that wasn't personal, when something does land and it hurts you, the easier it will be for you to start shifting into a confident version of yourself, because you'll start to see, like I said, your brain wants to confirm you right. You'll start to see the ways that things really aren't personal. Another way that you can act from confidence is by courage. So beyond shame, which is when you're feeling really small, when you're feeling really unconfident, and beyond pride, which is when you're in that superiority and that arrogance part of life, there's courage. When you've reached the level of courage, it's the baseline of consciousness. You're breaking through to the other side. Courage is eventually what builds confidence. This might seem totally counterintuitive, like why would I put myself in almost a vulnerable position if I want to build confidence? But courage is exactly the means that you can get confidence, and you can get it quickly. I talked about this a little bit in the last episode, but all of the ways that people make themselves small. It's like they don't ask for what they really want. They don't say what they really want to say. They don't do what they really want to do. And most of the time, it's out of fear. And when you start coming from courage, asking for what you want, saying what you want, telling people what you desire, living life from the fullest, and just allowing yourself to do what you want to do, you have to have that level of courage. And this can look like a lot of things. For example, I was in line at Kava, one of my favorite restaurants. And like my bowl was almost empty. And so instead of just paying for it and being resentful, oh, the worker didn't fill it up. Hey, just ask. Hey, could I have some more lentils? Can I have some more lettuce? Like whatever the case may be. A lot of times you can save yourself resentment by just asking. And the reason I say that courage will start to begin to give you confidence is because the more that you ask for what you want and the more that you do what you want to do, the more you'll realize, okay, people are wanting to support me. People like me. I'm making connections. I'm having friends, and this is good. I have something within me that is good. We'll give the very charged example of asking for numbers. So if you're that person that's like, I could never approach a man. I could never approach a woman. I could never ask for a number. I could never just, go up and talk to a stranger I don't know because, like, I don't know, what if they might reject me? That would be weird, yada, yada, yada. This is like the perfect assignment for you because this is what I mean by courage builds confidence. So the first time you go and approach a stranger and you've never done it before, you might experience fear. And what you're experiencing is not just the fear of another person, but it's the fear that, hey, what would happen if they were like, if we went up and the worst case scenario, if I went up to talk to this person, what would happen? Okay, well, worst case scenario, they reject me. Well, then what? Then, everybody points at me and laughs and it goes on the news and now no one wants to be with me and I die alone. So really, your subconscious has linked doing what you want to do somehow, whatever the case may be, whether it's in business, whether it's in money, whether it's in relationships, just living life. Somehow, if you're afraid of something, your subconscious has linked it to this like deep, dark thing. So you're really feeling all of that when you're just doing something simple as getting a number. So you might walk up and all of those fears are being triggered. You're shaking, you're sweating, you look crazy maybe. You're like, and it's going to be uncomfortable. If you're afraid of this, you're uncomfortable. But hey, the experience is the medicine. The sickness is the cure. Do you get what I'm saying? By you going and doing what you want to do, you're acting in spite of fear, you're acting regardless, you're showing yourself, okay, I went up and talked to this person, maybe the conversation was awkward, but I didn't die. And then the next time you go and do it, okay, last time this happened, I didn't die. You're less shaky, you're more present. Maybe the conversation's still awkward because you're pretty nervous. You're still sweaty, whatever the case may be. And you didn't have the courage to ask for the number. But hey, I did it again and I didn't die. And I actually had a good time talking to this person. And then the third time you do it, the conversation goes really well. And hey, you might have even got the number this time. I'm not saying it's only going to take 3 times, but eventually with you doing things that you genuinely want to do, it brings you up to that level of courage. And now it's not a thing anymore. So how does this build confidence? Well, the more that you're doing what you want to do and you realize, hey, I am actually allowed to do what I want to do. The man at Kava, he wants to help me out. The person that I'm getting the number from or talking to, they want to talk to me too. I'm attractive. I'm a good person to talk to. I'm good company. The job I applied for, they want to hire me. I'm a great employee. The more you're putting yourself out there, that courage to do that, because it's not easy if you're not encouraged. It's not easy to get to this level. But when you start doing it, you'll start to get confidence because you realize, hey, I am good enough. And it's not just something that you're telling yourself. It's something that you've lived. And the more you put yourself out there, the more you're ingraining it into yourself. If you tell yourself, I'm worthy of having a good partner, and you go up and get the number and you date this person, that's a whole lot different than saying I'm worthy of a partner and then but I'm afraid to go actually talk to get one. Like, that is not congruent. My coach, Roberto, he always says it's like confirming orders from the universe. You might have to put in a little action to confirm your order. So if you're over there saying, hey, I want this dream job, but you're too afraid to apply, how does that make sense? If you're the universe watching, you're like, well, you don't actually believe it. You say that you're a good partner. You say that you want to have money, but when I give you the opportunity, you're afraid. And why are you afraid? Because deep down, you don't actually believe it. Part of the way that I feel like I got unshakable confidence is from literally throwing myself in the deep end. I'm not suggesting anybody do this, but it's true. If you want to get confidence, you get a lot of courage. So I bought a one-way ticket to Bali and knew no one there. Just kind of said, okay, hopefully this will work out. And I made connections. I put myself out there. I met new people. Like, it took a lot of courage to trust that everything was going to be okay. But the more that you put yourself in a position to be okay with doing whatever you're afraid of doing, the deeper your confidence gets, because you actually learn skills. Confidence also comes from knowing things, having skills. And it's not just because you have the skill, but it's about the attitude of devotion, that you have put time in studying something. You've put time into learning a language. You put time in learning an instrument, an art form, a yoga practice. This is very attractive and magnetic to people when you have put in time like this. If you're wanting to show up as a confident version of yourself, ask yourself, how many skills do I know? What have I learned? What have I done? What do I do with my time? In one of Fred's books, he talks about, if you're on the beach, who's more likely to get a girlfriend? The guy that's just been surfing all day, the guy that's sitting and playing the guitar, or the guy that's sitting there doing nothing, asking, please bring me a girlfriend, please bring me a girlfriend. Obviously, one of the guys that have been doing something, they have some activity going on. I mean, can you just imagine that? Feel which one is more attractive. Because if you're a woman, you know this for sure. Maybe you know it as well if you're a man. But it's like when someone has too strong of a desire, it's icky. You feel it and you're like, ooh, I don't actually want to be around this person, because they are like desire at a level 10. But when you're around someone who they've got their stuff going on, they're really involved, they're immersed in their art, they're immersed in their life, it's pleasurable to be around them because they're in pleasure. So the more you are at ease literally within your own body, the more that comes across as confidence too. So if you are in this space of, you've kind of been the guy or girl sitting around waiting for something to happen, go take care of yourself in a way that's elevating you. Learn something, do something, acquire a skill, have a job. If you do happen to be watching this and you're just sitting around, there's a certain feeling that comes with unemployment or not. I'm not even going to say it's productivity. It's like a giving energy and an exchange. Exchanging money is spiritual. I could talk about that for a whole other podcast episode. So if you're working and you are providing a service to another human being and you're getting money, and there's something so spiritual about this. And so if you're out of flow in that, if you haven't been providing a service, if you're not being of service somehow, even if that just means volunteering to you, you're going to start to feel icky. So if you're feeling unconfident and you don't have a job, I mean, there you go. Get a job, and that will help you immensely. But it ultimately comes down to you figuring out, aligning with yourself, knowing what you want to do, and no matter what that is, having the courage to do it. Because what are you getting this confidence for? So that you can impress people? Because that defeats the purpose. You want to have the confidence so that you can do whatever you want and know that you're going to be okay anyways. So the most wholesome path to confidence, in my opinion, is asking yourself, what do you want to do? What do you truly want to do? And just doing that. For me, that's been putting out TikToks and then eventually becoming a coach. I'll tell you, like when I first started making TikToks, I was afraid to post them. I didn't think I could post consistently. I didn't know if I could come up with the content, and I was actually really afraid of what the people that I knew would think. So what I ended up doing was, okay, let's do an experiment. Let's see if I can make the content for 30 days. I'll make a TikTok. And for 30 days, I literally filled up my drafts, made TikToks. And I don't even think I made it to the 30 days. I was like, I am so in love with this creative process. I'm so like enjoying myself creating this, and I feel like I'm actually creating value. So I want to post this, and I don't really care what other people think, because I have to get this out there. Like, it has to be out there, and whatever that brings, whatever. So when you have that purpose, the confidence comes, because you have to have the confidence. It's like, I literally, it felt like one of those things where it's like, if I don't do this, I'm going to die. If I don't do this, I'm just going to it's on my chest. I have to get it off. You know what I mean? So when you have those intuitive things that you're like, I know I have to do this, the confidence, the courage comes automatically, because, and I won't say it comes automatically, because it still was a thought pattern of like, okay, what if other people see this? But yada da da. But honestly, like, you get over it a lot quicker, because it's something that you know within yourself you have to do. And it's just like, okay, this is who I am as of today. So the more that you know yourself and you allow yourself to show up how you really want to be, it will take care of getting the courage and the confidence. Because like I said, what's the point of having this courage if you're attracting all these things, but to attract things that you don't want and end up in the same position of having a life that you don't want? So if you're really committed to being confident, figure out what you want and have the courage to go and get that. Naturally, there's going to be objections to anything that you do that's a little outside of your comfort zone. But that's where it comes into play, where you just need to know yourself. You need to know how you can succeed regardless of any doubts that you might have. And that's what a lot of what I do with coaching work. It's like, how can we make sure that you succeed regardless of any doubts? Because doubts, they just exist. And the more you resist them, the more they persist. If you just allow them to come up and be with them, eventually they just fade away. But they won't ever fade away if you let them control you. You get what I'm saying? If you do want to be that magnetic person in the room, that comes from being uniquely you. Everyone that has that magnetism about them, it's not because they're a copy and paste of someone else. It's because they're doing their own unique, weird thing. They're living their life, and people are like, wait a minute. They're living their life. They recognize, hey, this person has this energy field of whatever it is. And it's very attractive. But the person didn't get there from trying to replicate a trend or trying to be something that other people do enjoy. They started a movement, and at the beginning of the movement, it might be awkward. Your vision is yours because it came to you from your source, your creator, the universe, whatever you want to call it, your higher self. At first, other people are most definitely not going to see your vision because they are not you. How would they understand your specific vision from God or from the universe, from higher self? The vision is for you, and other people don't see it. There's no outside proof of it. But since you have the vision, it's your responsibility to go out and act on it. At first, when there's no outside proof of a vision working, no one else can see it, no one else understand it. It's weird at first. You kind of look crazy. You're that one person dancing alone. But eventually someone else comes along and they're like, yeah, I kind of get the vision too. I think I had something similar in my vision. And they join in. And then that attracts someone else. It's like, oh, they're on my same path. Like a part of this is my vision too. And then this energy accumulates and you've started a whole movement. But at first, nobody freaking got it. So you have to understand that it's okay that you uniquely you have your own ideas, and being okay and having the confidence to act how you want to act is eventually what's going to start your movement. So now it's your assignment to get enough courage to put yourself out there to be who you really want to be, because people are never going to understand it until you understand it. You get what I'm saying? It's kind of like this. It's like, well, I can't post yet if I have 0 followers on Instagram. Okay, well then how are you going to get the followers if you never post? You get what I'm saying? So a lot of times in life, before you have the courage, before you have the confidence, before you have even the full idea of who you are, you still have to act, because the more you act, the more you get it, and the more you accumulate energy to get you to where you do want to be. Even if you feel like you're not acting from confidence, following your path and doing what you want to do, you'll get there. I promise, because that's how I'm here. So we went over a lot. We talked about the difference between fickle pride and real courage. We talked about getting new skills. We talked about asking for what you want to ask for and just following your path to do what you really want to do and allow that to be okay. Allowing yourself to be uniquely you and start your own peace, love movement for whatever your soul desires. Plus a lot more in there. I encourage you, make a list of these things because a lot of what I said in here can be implemented into steps today for you to take. And you can apply it to your life today to get better results. If you're feeling like you want specific help on an issue, one-on-one help to go in to clear subconscious blocks, to get rid of those fears so that you're effortlessly showing up as courageous and confident, feel free to message me for one-on-one assistance. All of my socials are at sivassoul. I truly hope that this episode was a positive impact for you and you're able to implement it, because don't take my word for anything. Apply it to your life and see what happens. That being said, I wish you a ton of peace. I wish you a ton of confidence. I wish you happiness and fulfillment in whatever you do. So thank you for tuning in today. This has been your host, Siva. Peace and love at ya. Mwah. I'm going to go to yoga.